What is up, everyone? So if you follow me on Instagram, then you will have seen one of the pictures that I posted recently of this little guy. This is a fret bender, and what it does is it takes a piece of fret wire like this that's straight and gives it a nice radius like this so that it matches the radius of a fretboard. Well, what does that mean for me? Well, that means I need to build a fretboard radiusing jig. That's going to prevent me from having to sand any kind of radius into a fretboard. Yes, I'm building a guitar. It's coming up soon. Alright. So what I did was I scoured the internet. I found some pretty cool videos. I found this set of plans. I'll link to it in the description below. You can go check it out for yourself if you want to build one of these. This is calling for 3/4 inch plywood, but I have some leftover MDF from my pocket hole jig machine build, and I'm going to use that. See what happens. So, without further ado, let's get to it. I started out like any other project like this, cutting all the pieces according to the cut list. For assembly, I started by attaching the base pieces to the sides, first with some brad nails, then reinforcing with screws. Then I attach the top rails in the same way, making sure there's an equal amount of overhang on each side. The pivot board gets the mounting board also attached with brad nails and screws. This needs to be flush on both ends and centered on the pivot board. Then the pivot board can be placed on its side and the pivot holes drilled according to the plans, or whatever radii you want for your fretboards. Here I'm using my combination square to mark a center line down one side, then marking out the holes to be drilled through that side that match the holes I drilled in the pivot board. Then I can repeat the process on the other side. And some god-awful squeaking while cutting some steel rod for the pivot pegs. Bam! drilling some holes here for the guide bearings, which then get bolted to the router mounting board and tightened down. I clamped on the guide block so I could attach it with brad nails and screws. This should be a snug fit, but not so tight that it won't slide freely. I used the base of the router that will be mounted here to lay out the center hole and mounting holes. Then I drilled out the center with a Forstner bit and the mounting holes with a bit just a bit larger than the screws used to mount the router. Then I mounted the router, attached a fretboard blank, and gave it a try. And make sure you pay attention to the direction the router bit spins, unlike I did here. Oops. That's better. The neat thing about this jig is that not only can you do a single radius fretboard, but you can also do a compound radius simply by putting one peg in the 12-inch hole, for example, on the headstock end, and the other peg in the 16-inch hole on the other end. And just like that, I have a perfect 16-inch radius fretboard. It's a very simple project to build. It's not my idea, but I will leave a link in the description below to where you can get the plans for this amazing fretboard radiusing jig. It can do 16, 14, 10, 10 and a half, whatever you want really, in terms of fretboard radius. Now this was just a piece of scrap maple that I had laying around, about the same size as a fretboard, so that's what I used for this demonstration. But use whatever you want, it'll still work. And definitely use a good sharp router bit to do this, to get the cleanest cut you possibly can. A little bit of sanding afterwards and you're ready to go. Alright, that's going to wrap this one up. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I am going to be building another guitar. The question is when? When am I going to have the time? I don't know. But it will be coming sometime in the future. So definitely click that subscribe button down there and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any time I upload a new video. And if you like this video, go ahead and hammer that thumbs up button, will you? I'd appreciate it. Alright, we'll see you next time.